It has been over a month since Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu died, yet his body remains unburied following a standoff between his family and the Zambian government, now escalated into a legal dispute in South Africa where he died. The Lungu family has objected to the former president being buried in Zambia, with a state funeral presided over by his successor, President Hakainde Hichilema, citing it as a wish he expressed before his death. However, the Zambian government is seeking the repatriation of Mr. Lungu's body through legal action filed by Attorney General Mulilo Kavesha at the Pretoria High Court in South Africa. In its submission, the state argues that the late President Lungu did not specify burial preferences in his will. Therefore, as a beneficiary under the Benefits of Former Presidents Act, it should be presumed he intended to be buried with full state honours in accordance with Zambian customs and traditions. The government further submits that Mr. Lungu's acceptance of state benefits indicated his agreement to a state funeral and that he was never disqualified from receiving such benefits as outlined in Section 5.2 of the Act. While his benefits were suspended during his return to active politics, the state argues that upon his death, that suspension ceased, restoring his entitlement and allowing the government to provide a state funeral. But one of the respondents in the case, former First Lady Esther Lungu, insists the family wishes for Mr. Lungu to be buried in South Africa. She argues that he had lost all state-provided benefits and had reverted to the status of an ordinary citizen. She further claims that even before the formal revocation of his benefits, Mr. Lungu suffered gross human rights violations, including public vilification, unlawful travel restrictions, denial of medical access, and threat to his personal safety. According to her, the family feared that remaining in Zambia posed serious health and security risks for the former president. She notes that between 2015 and 2023, Mr. Lungu routinely traveled to South Africa for medical treatment. However, in 2022 and 2023, such travel required presidential consent from Mr. Hichilema, which she claims was requested but denied without explanation. Ms. Lungu also suggests that the government's stance is politically motivated, rooted in retaliation over President Hichilema's arrest in 2017. She alleges that she and her children have been unlawfully detained and the family property has been seized without clear legal basis, actions she says amount to political persecution. She specifically names Tasila, Daliso, and Chieso Lungu, along with another unnamed relative, as having been accused of owning property allegedly linked to proceeds of crime. The former First Lady contends that her husband fled Zambia out of genuine fear of persecution. Regarding the repatriation issue, she argues that South African law applies as the country maintains jurisdiction over all matters within its territory, including the handling of human remains. She says South African law grants next of kin the legal right to determine the burial location, and this right supersedes any diplomatic interest by the Zambian government. In the absence of a treaty or formal legal agreement between Zambia and South Africa on such matters, she argues that any diplomatic request remains non-binding. Darius John, Diamond News.